That's the water meter, electronic reader.
I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Has anybody read the minutes? Very good. Is there any additions, corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Moved by Larry. Second. Second by Dara. All those in favor? Swearing in of new and re-elected council members and city attorney.
So I have the oath of office here for all of our, re-elected, for Amanda and also for David, and then I have an oath of office for Lauren as well. We'll do you first. And if you can just read your oath and then sign.
I, Amanda Melny, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of council member for the City of St. Francis, so help me God.
David, stand and take the oath of office.
I, David Butler, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of City Council member. So help me God.
You need to sign.
Jennifer? You can tell it's an original if it's blue, if it's black, it's a copy.
And Lauren?
I, Lauren J. Riles, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Kansas and faithfully discharge the duties of City Attorney for the City of St. Francis, so help me God.
Thank you.
Consent agenda needs permission for clerk to pay insurance at time of billing, permission for clerk to pay utilities at time of billing, permission for clerk to pay utility incentives before the 25th of the month, permission for clerk to pay theater bills when due, permission for clerk to pay payment service network bills when due, permission for clerk to pay the following dues: Kansas Rural Water Association of $812, CCM FOA of $100, Kansas Association of Court Management of $50, and League of Kansas Municipalities of $959.81. Moved by Dara. Second by Cale. All in favor? Visitors?
We're just the gallery.
Police report. Cody.
Okay. While that's going around, I've got a couple things we need to take care of. One of them is when I contact Kansas Sea Post, which holds the certifications of law enforcement officer, we have to get Jonathan transferred over from the police department to the sheriff's office. That's easy enough, but one of the things we can't do is get training records, all that stuff associated with Jonathan or any past officer, if anything ever comes up, like a job reference or a job check or anything like that, done for us. So one of the things they would like to have is a letter explaining the contract, everything from the city that we can send to C-Post. And once they receive that, then that will allow me to be able to do those things. The other thing is, when Darrell left, and this is a common mistake, when Darrell left, he forgot to sign himself out. And they're very picky about that at C-Post, of where you work. So I filled this out because the Kansas Commissioner of Peace Officer Standards Training notification of termination or status change. It covers everything from a retirement to resignation, whatever. The problem is I can't sign it. So the mayor of St. Francis has to sign it, or the head of the council, however. So I'll pass that down to her, and she can look it over. It just I have filled it all out. Just at the bottom where it says authorization, agency head, is where you'll need to sign and put the title of your position. So those are just housekeeping things. I'm sure we're going to run into more as we go on. So anyways, on to the police report. Comparatively, we had 7 calls to service in Brook City, 44 in the county, and 52 in the city of St. Francis, 6 in what we call the Wheeler area, and 16 that are non-categorized. And like I said, the non-categorized ones are things like training, court, things that aren't categorized to a jurisdiction. So that's how you guys are comparing to the rest of the county. You guys enter the highest call to service sector. If you run through them, we can go through them if you want to, but you guys all have a copy of it. That's the 52 calls broke down into what the calls were in St. Francis for the month of January. And like I said, January is half over, so that's just the first 2 weeks of January. And like I said, you can't really pick a trend out of it, but that's what we have. So, any questions over the police report for me or anything? We were going to change the name, and then we decided, no, let's just keep it SFPD. That way we know what we're talking about. So that's specifically in the city limits of St. Francis, and they'll continue saying SFPD, even though we're no police department. I think it's just, when you see it, you know it happened in St. Francis. So. No questions. I'm trying to get away to get the code book I was given is a huge 3-ring binder. And of course, we could use the UPC book and the STO book on stuff, but there's some ordinances that are specific to St. Francis. I'm trying to get that to where it's manageable, like maybe a thumb drive or something, so every deputy has it, so they can thumb through it without having to go back to the office and getting this whole book out and thumb through it. But
Cody, I do have it on a thumb drive. I can make copies.
that would be great.
Yeah, if you can get me the thumb drive.
Kat will appreciate that, because I was going to have her, we were going to go through what was already in the STO book and the UPC book and exclude that and type I was just going to have her retype everything that's specific to the city of St. Francis and go, if you have it on thumb drive, that would save her a lot of work.
It's the code book you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? Yes, I do. So.
Okay. Yeah. The other thing is, Lila and I went over and looked at the PD. We're slowly getting stuff done. We had Reach Solutions go in, do the computer stuff. We're getting ready to move stuff out. We're going to inventory everything as we move it out so that there's a good inventory so everybody knows exactly what we took out of there. And I guess when we're done, I'll make contact with Lila and say, this is the stuff that we didn't take or didn't have a need for or was not associated with the police department. As Lila and I talked, when we said we take the police equipment, that really didn't necessarily mean the atomic clock on the wall. So, or, like that type of stuff. So that way you guys have a chance to see what's left and whatever you guys want to do with it. And then there's a doorway on the back. I think it'd be great to put a door there. That way, the city, you know, where they have their break room or whatever you guys decide to do with the rest of the office, you guys have control of the access of that. And then we could have that back door where we come in to use that holding cell. We just, that way they could use whatever without worrying about, you know, you have some border there.
Be back here like we talked about, or?
They would still have access to all of that back there for
On the
their,
outside, is that what you're
Mhm.
talking
Mhm.
about?
On
Okay,
that
it's on the
side.
outside.
So the only thing that I would see is, I didn't think about this when we were talking, is I don't know if we would have to, I mean, you have the door there and locked, but I'm kind of curious what the fire marshal would think about having two ways out. If there's some kind of emergency, like fire door type thing where we could, if there was an emergency. But I'd wait until we talk to the fire marshal before, I mean, who knows, I've never known the fire marshal actually come out and inspect that cell, so. But, and we could just do it and ask for forgiveness if they ever come out and ask for, you know, do an inspection. But, technically there should be two ways to egress, but, I don't think it's that big of an issue to do right now, because we're not holding prisoners in there 24 hours a day, so.
well, you can get out that side door, which would be your main one, but you can also get out back here,
Okay.
can't you? Isn't there a door back here at the end of this hall?
It comes
And
over
then it
here.
goes, and then there's a door at the back of the
Yeah, come
building?
over there. Okay, yeah, okay, then we have our two ways
Yeah.
out, so. But yeah, that would let you guys have your space, use it however you want, not have to worry about people walking through it. You just have a door there and you're done. You could see, you know, the hinge cutouts are there, the lock holes there. It's just a matter of hanging the door. You know, the door frame's already there, you ain't have to buy a door
That's
frame.
the back.
That's the back. On beyond the bathroom, there's a doorway, and it looks like, you know, there was a door there at one time. I don't know when it went away, but there was a door there, so just put a new one in, but, like I said, we'll go through and inventory everything so that there's a good count. We've been working on doing that till we get time, inventorying what's there, and then we'll move it and let you guys know. I'm trying to work on a reasonable time frame, so you guys can have that space whenever. We haven't really gone up into the attic yet. Jonathan did brave going up there and looking around, just a bunch of boxes, so I don't know what we're gonna find up there, but.
And is that something, Lauren, not to...
I'm
like,
sorry, I'm looking over.
read-
Apparently Mike, they sent me like a bunch of pages of things. Sorry.
We have the agreement with the county,
Mhm.
and he kind of had a inventory list of things that he wanted. We didn't really make it part of the agreement, nor did we specify like serial numbers and that kind of stuff, if we need to make that an addendum to that, so it's black and white and everybody is on the same page as far as, now that we've already signed the agreement with them, we didn't really officially have a formal list of inventory he was going to take, signed with the agreement.
Yeah, I think doing an addendum or a Schedule A to the previous agreement, which states the list of assets along with the serial numbers or other identifying marks for anything that does not specifically have a serial number, items, quantities, if it's reams of paper, etc., just so that way it can be fully accounted for.
Yeah. And Lila and I walked through, we kind of agreed that, you know, contractually, we talked about the police equipment. We didn't talk about office supplies, reams of papers, paper clips, things like that. It's my understanding of the contract, and probably you guys understand, that's your guys' reams of paper. If they can use it over at City Hall, they can come get it. Our contract wasn't for office supplies. It was for, you know, guns, handcuffs, tasers, vests, uniforms, not so much, you know, ink toner, you know. So we just assume all the office supplies is the city's, and will remain the city's stuff. It'll be the police-only specific equipment that we'll take out there.
One of the things that the council needs to talk about, though, is that server, because that was not on the original.
Yeah. Whatever. Did Scott talk to you about that at all, or Reach Solutions?
No.
You know, okay. So, There's two. One is an interpool server, and the other one is a file server. When Scott went over there to do the computers and sanitize them and all the stuff we had to do, there's two servers there. Like I said, the interpool one is necessary to maintain and archive the police department records. He'll have to move it over, and we'll rack it in with the existing interpool server that the sheriff's office has. It's about the only way to archive the police department's record. But there is a file server there. To tell you, it's a fairly significant server. I can't remember exactly what its memory is that it holds, but there was only 16 gigs used on it. So apparently it wasn't used a whole lot. I think there's evidence, pictures, and some stuff like that. But it barely even made a mark. When you look at the screen of memory used when you bring it up, it just barely even made a mark on it. So we need to make a decision about what we're going to do with the file server. So.
And that wasn't included originally with your...
No. The interpool server is, but not the straight up file server.
So on your list, that's where I'm a little bit confused, because on your original list that you had like 1,500 or 1,300 credit for computers.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have just been the two.
I don't have the list in front of me.
Hold on.
Basically, to sum it up, we found out they had more computer equipment than what I was told they had. Is basically to sum it up. So.
Something we need to just...
That depends. I mean, if the city, if you guys have a use for that file server, you guys would just take it over and be done with it. Obviously, I mean, I have a use for it, but it's not a necessity use. And if Lila needs a new server and you guys are shopping for a new server, why not just, we don't have to amend anything, don't have to do anything. You guys just take the server over, and City Hall uses that server. Because like I said, it's... You have a need for it?
Well, we are going to need to upgrade. It depends on, I would need to see what this is and what the operating system is, and see if it would suit the needs that we have, because we are going to have to upgrade this year.
I think, it's got a fairly modern version of Microsoft server on there. I can't remember what version it is, but it's fairly modern. It's not an older version. I can't remember. Like I said, there's only, of this huge server, there's only 16 gigs being used that are on there. So it'd be easy to pull those files off, and they fit on, if you could buy one thumb drive big enough, or you put them on 2 thumb drives, and you're done. And sanitize and get over and they can use it if they want it, if they would want it. So.
Is that something we should maybe table till next meeting, and you can take a look at that server?
I would like to.
And then maybe he can get a more definite list of inventory and serial numbers and that kind of stuff for the next meeting. Does that sound okay to everybody?
And then I think there's, did you say you wanted some monitors?
Yes.
I think we'll, because that one where it's going, we won't need the monitor, so Lila wants the monitors off that one computer. Yeah, those as well. So. The car, did you?
I had that in my clerk report. I have the title here. We need to have a motion. The intent was for them to have the 2014 Charger that John's been driving. But we are going to need a motion in order to transfer the title to the Sheriff's Department. And then that's all we need.
If you see it hasn't moved, because I tried to buy insurance for it, and they wouldn't sell me insurance for it because I didn't own it, and then the city's insurance won't cover a non-city employee driving it, so it just hasn't moved. So we kind of need to get that taken care of so we can get insurance. And
It's going to need a battery.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long. It's been, what, about a week or so?
Week.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, just one of those things that we didn't think about, but, okay.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to transfer the title.
Motion by Kale, second.
Third.
Second by Dara, all in favor?
Okay, Cody, I'll fill this out with the mileage and everything and have it for you tomorrow morning.
that'll work. And if you let me know, I'll just take it straight to the clerk.
See you guys.
See you guys. Thank you.
That's, yeah, maybe it's it. You know, I don't know if you guys want to talk about now, we were talking about the expedition, possibility of what you guys were going to do with the expedition, you know, if there's a possibility of the sheriff's office.
See you guys. See you.
And everything. I mean, that's a discussion for you guys to have. And, what you guys want to do, I'm throwing it on the table that we can use it. It's not part of the contract. You know, so, but it's, you know, like I said, we can use it, but I don't know if you guys have a use for it, and I'd use it, probably be basically using it the same way it was being used previously. Those Dodge Chargers are notoriously not good on ice and snow. They're horrible. So I'd be using it the same way. It'd be a backup vehicle for inclement weather, things like that.
So would we just sell it, most likely? Sell it to you guys, or? If you wanted to use, I mean, Jared, could you use the thing? No? The city crew and all?
I think so. Not efficiently, I mean, not the way they would. I would think just a book value on it and,
Yeah.
figure out what either the equipment and the book value on it is.
Well, the equipment,
Oh, that's part of it. That would be,
that was ours. We wrecked our expedition and totaled it.
So you accounted for that?
What's that? No, I didn't. No, that's how you want to say it, kind of like how do you say, I don't want to buy something I gave you? I gave you, I didn't loan it to you, but when we totaled our expedition, Darrell asked about the police equipment. The insurance company told me it was going to the crusher to be crushed, and if we wanted the police equipment out of there, we had to take it out of there, you know, because it's just going to be crushed. So I told Darrell if he went and got it, he could have it to put in his expedition. So it's, technically, you know, I gave it to the city, but I really don't want to pay for something that I gave to the city, you know, once before.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, the police equipment came out of the sheriff's office expedition.
That's good.
So I'd rather not, if you guys do decide to sell it and you come up with a price, I'd rather not go to the commissioners and tell them that we're buying police equipment twice. So
Right.
we bought once and now we're buying it again, so.
So, do we just get it over with?
Let's give book value.
Larry can read the value, right?
Probably.
Or
I've got
somewhere.
an NADA value. I don't know as far as mileage on it, if it's high miles.
Time mileage,
I had this.
167.5.
Is what the average mileage is for that year.
I don't think it has that
We
many
don't
miles.
pass
I
it
didn't
down,
ask
we put it in.
I think
I think that's what they're talking about over there.
It's under 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's under 100,000 miles.
Pound bit.
Well, that's the Crown Vic is just the city's vehicle. We just use it for, if it would run, we would use it to go to training and stuff, but the last time we tried to use it, it wouldn't start, so.
And like I said, I would have to go to the commissioners because
That's high. Jared thinks it's got less than 100,000 on it. I don't remember.
Maybe we could double check it.
Yeah, let's check it.
Why wouldn't we just
Yeah.
have somebody who knows get the number, if we agree
The
to
vendor
let him
and-
provide the number, so we're not running meeting after meeting?
Yeah.
And
Is
get
the
that
vendor
to Cody to go to the commissioners.
Should have the
Yes,
VIN.
it is.
Yeah.
I assume this is the VIN.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
You comfortable with doing that, right?
Huh?
Just get, you get the
Oh, yeah.
value and then just provide that to
Yeah.
Cody to go to the commissioners.
Certainly more than 10 grand.
See now, NADA has it at what?
I'll get it to him.
like I said, it's just an idea I had. If I, you know, just like anything else, if you could buy it right, it'd be nice to have around
Where-
inclement weather.
Where is it? Is it sitting out here?
It's right out here.
If you get a chance tomorrow, could you just get the miles off and shoot me a text?
Sure.
I think so.
Lila, do we need a motion on this? Or did you need,
I don't even, probably not,
I can just-
but I would like to have a copy of that, just for my
Yeah,
records,
yeah,
whatever that
I'd
is,
like to put a
that
copy
and you
of
just
it.
need
she
to sign
signs.
here?
Yep.
Okay.
And I filled everything else out that needs to be filled out.
That's just, so what was that again?
That's just notification that he does not work here anymore.
Gotcha.
So, like I said, C-Post is really picky about that. Because I guarantee you what's going to happen is we're going to send that in and you will get a letter from C-Post with them saying this is supposed to be done within so many days. But of course, you guys don't know about it, so, yeah. So, it won't be anything more than a finger shaking of, you know,
Shame on us.
you have X number of days to fill this out when an employee leaves. But that's the chief of police's responsibility, and then when he leaves, he's supposed to, fill it out himself and send it in. But it happens quite regularly that it's not done.
Gotcha.
Do you want this, Steph, or do you want to get a copy?
Can I make a quick
Yeah.
copy of that?
Yeah.
Just take me a second here.
How's it going? Getting busy with tax season? Not yet?
I've been out of my office for a week.
Got
Yeah.
a tan?
Got back at, I was in Houston. I got back at, we drove 16 hours yesterday to make it back so I could drive 6 hours today to go get my dogs and bring them back. I got into town just after 5.
Good.
And I had to get the dogs in, get the dogs settled, take a shower, get here. I saw I had an email from Mike and I was going through it when you asked me. That's what I was doing real fast.
Mm.
Cody doesn't have anything else. Does anybody have any questions for him? Or if not, is there a motion to file and accept the police report? Motion by Gail. Second. Second by Darrell. All in favor? New business. Mayor appointments with council consent and approval. So these are the same as what we discussed last meeting, except for Darrell's going to sit on theater board, and then Rodney Braceman was a change to the airport commission. And then we added the city representative to the CCC board. See you, Cody.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Cody.
We need a motion on this, or?
We will need one. Do we need to go down the list since David wasn't here at the meeting? Maybe just go through them and
Okay.
make sure that everything looks good.
City Attorney Lauren, City Superintendent J.R., City Clerk Lila, City Treasurer Jim, Municipal Judge Paula, Freedom of Information Officer Lila, Fire Chief Dan Blair, Assistant Fire Chief Chris Labarge, Fire Department Treasurer Keaton Fruin, the official newspaper St. Francis Herald, official depositories Bank West, First National Bank, and Western State Bank, Theater Board Council Member Derek Carmichael, Members at Large Robert Grace, Justin Moore, Brent Reed, Margie Ann Holtz, and Bridget Ann Holtz, Roadside Park Board Council Member Cale Dinkenbrink, City Employee J.R. Landenberger, 3 Members at Large Mike Meyer, Carlo Lampe, and Carrie Swigert, Pool Board Council Member Larry Finley, City Superintendent, Members at Large Margaret Poling, Bruce Whitehart, Keely Lloyd, and Sharon Johnson. Housing Authority Richard Grace, Carol Rogers, Lynette Nolan, Janet Jensen, and Carol Larson. Airport Commission Dave Yost and Rodney Raceman. PBC David Butler, Derek Carmichael, Larry Finley. 2 Rec Commission members, Holly Hink and Susan Ninkle, and 2 members at large, Kelly Fruin and Roger Jensen. Council representative to CCDC Board, David Butler. Council member to 911 Board, Amanda. Council member to Cheyenne County, Kansas Community Foundation, Dara. City representative to Internet Committee, JR. And city representative to CC4C Board, myself. Streets and Alleys are myself and Scott. Utility is Kale and Scott. Parks, Recreation, and Refuge is Dara, David, Kale. Safety is JR, Dan, myself, and Lila. Washington Street Beautification Committee, myself, Dara, Robin Riley, Carla Lampe, J.R. Landenberger, and Dustin Confer. And Keller Pond Committee, Larry Finley, Brock McAtee, and Dave Fleming.
I guess Dustin was a change too. I did
Oh,
get
yeah.
him highlighted.
Yeah,
but
Dustin Confer has decided to sit on the Washington Street Beautification Committee.
I think we need a motion and a vote on the appointments.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the 2020 mayor appointments?
So moved.
Moved by Cale,
Second.
second by Larry. We will vote. David? Yes. Cale? Yes. Sarah? Yes. Larry?
Yes.
And the theater was the first Monday of
Every other, yeah, so
So
February.
they start, February's first one. Oh, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, update authorized signers on bank accounts.
So the, hold on just a second, let me get that information here. All of our bank accounts, the mayor, our authorized signers are the mayor, the council president, the clerk, the treasurer, and 1 council member, which is Dara. So with Roger leaving and Amanda now the council president, we need a motion in the minutes to authorize Amanda as the council president to be an authorized signer on our bank accounts. So that's the motion that we need.
Put Amanda on. Moved by Dara,
Second.
second by David. All in favor?
All right.
Budgeted allocations. CCDC, Senior Center options, and WKCAC.
That's the Western Kansas Child Advocacy Center. And just for David's information, in each year in the budget, we budget certain amounts for all of these organizations, and we like to pay them out at the beginning of the year so the organizations have them. CCDC is $24,378. The Senior Center is $8,000. Options Domestic Violence, $1,500, and Western Kansas Child Advocacy Center is $1,500. So we just need a motion for me to be able to pay those allocations to.
Got a quick question.
Yes.
Are we putting enough into CCDC?
So this is what's budgeted for 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was the amount that was decided last year
Yep,
for
you're
2020,
right.
but
You're
when we
right.
do budget time this year, it might be something to look at. That amount has not changed in a number of years. Same with the Senior Center. The amount for the Senior Center has not changed in many years. So, something to consider.
And the other two we just upped this year?
Last
year.
year.
So
Last
you
year.
bumped them from 1,000 to 1,500 for options and child advocacy.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve the budgeted allocations?
So moved.
Moved by Larry, second by Cale. All in favor? GAAP Resolution 2020-1.
So, Lauren will be doing these. Mike did this one for us this year. In January every year, we pass the GAAP resolution, which has to do with the financial statements and how we do our reporting of our financial statements. And this resolution allows us to do it the way that we do it. It has to be passed. I can read it. I can pass it around if you want to look at it. And then we just need a motion and Amanda can sign it.
Need a vote or just a motion?
Just a motion. Resolution. Let's do a vote just to be on the safe side. Yeah. Are you familiar with the gap accounting, what that's all about?
Mike sent me an email. I was familiarizing myself with it.
How many emails did you get? Is your inbox like completely full?
I don't know. I don't know. I tracked it, and I think I worked an average of 14.5-hour days from the second week of November all the way through January 2nd. And I mean 7 days a week, including on the weekends. And so I turned my phone
While you were gone.
I went to Texas and turned my phone off.
Smart move. Because you can't get away from it. If you leave your phone on, you can't get away
Yeah,
from it.
I turned it off and stuck it in a box and told Ryan to put it somewhere in the room, and I didn't even know where it was. I had Ryan checking with Janet via email one day. Anything Laura needs to know immediately? Nope. Okay. Good. Thanks. Bye. Is the building still standing? Yep. All right. I'll see you on Tuesday.
That's why I called her today just to double check to see if you were going to be here.
Yeah.
And she said, I haven't heard a peep out of her.
Yeah.
So, well.
Yeah. Came flying in the house with the dogs, who hadn't been in the house since the 2nd of January, because we dropped them off at my mom's in Colorado. And came flying in the house, and it was a whirlwind. And my husband was like, oh, I don't like some better. Of course, I'm jumping on them. So excited to be home. And
I'll bet.
I came in, and I was like, I gotta go shower.
Someone is a vacation calling Renee.
Huh?
So someone is a vacation calling Renee.
That was the vacation.
No.
Yeah, that was the vacation, wasn't it? It was very nice. It was good. Got to see some friends.
I hear a motion to approve the GAAP Resolution 2020-1.
Okay.
By Dara.
He's quick on the draw.
We'll vote on this. David? Cable?
Yes.
Dara?
Yes.
Larry?
Yes.
Designate KRWA voting delegate and alternate.
That's the Kansas Rural Water Association. The guys go every March. The folks going this year are JR and John and Bill and Wyatt, right? So usually we have JR as the delegate and one of the other guys is an alternate, and John Larson would be the recommendation, correct? So we just need motion to approve those.
Motion to approve JR as the delegate and John Larson as the alternate. Moved by Gail,
Sorry.
second by Larry. All in favor?
Just quickly, while we're mentioning that, the Kansas Rural Water Association it's where they do all the classes and everything. Water is highly regulated for the safety, public safety, of course, and we have to maintain hours in water and wastewater. And this conference draws like 10,000 people. It's really actually quite large in Wichita. But there is a lot of things there, new products, training, and all that stuff happens there. So it's pretty important to us.
Old business. Quick claims deed for Tim and Robin Riley.
So I'll read it. We have the correction in it, but I'll read it to you. This is for Lot 2 of the St. Francis Industrial Park for the sum of $2,650, except and subject to easements and restrictions, if any, of record. As additional consideration to the grantor, grantees shall cause to be constructed on the premises a 50,000 bushel grain bin facility within a year of the date of this deed. In the event the grain storage facility is not constructed and completed within the year, then the real estate conveyed hereby will revert back to the grantor. Additionally, as further consideration, any contemplated conveyance of the premises and improvements by the grantees within 10 years of the date of this deed shall be subject to a first right of refusal by the grantor. The city shall have 180 days from the filing of this deed to remove any of its property now on the premises. Any remaining property at the expiration of the 180 days shall become the property and the responsibility of the grantees. That sound good?
A motion to approve the quitclaim deed to Kevin Robin?
So moved.
Moved by Gail. Second by Larry. All in favor?
Let's see, Amanda, need you to sign this. Hold on a second.
I should probably abstain and let it through Mr. Hoagie.
You are?
So,
Yeah.
How's that work?
Robin and Hoagie are first cousins.
That's pretty darn distant. Does that still count?
I don't know. I just.
Does that still count?
Better
You have a
to abstain.
majority without it, so.
Better to abstain.
I was gonna say, I don't know.
Are you a notary?
I am. I do not
Um,
have my stamp with me, but I can take it to my office and bring it back to you. Since I did see it today, since I'm going to watch each of you sign, I can take it to my office and bring it, have Janet run it down to you when she does mail, and I'll just notarize it. Yeah, I'll bring my stamp to future meetings.
I would vote yes, but otherwise.
Property cleanup.
We've only got one that we've got active. That's the one we condemned, the Toller property. I've had contact by an heir who wants to try to bring it into compliance. We basically have 60 days to do so within satisfaction, and then we can basically withdraw that from the property. I think they'll probably make it. I mean, they've already done a lot of improvements on it. It's unfortunate it takes that to get them to do that, but anyway, they've made quite a bit of progress on it already. Hopefully we can get that one off the list. We've got 5 other ones that are identified. I think what I want to do is get with Mike and Lauren on generally the procedure we do for going forward. We don't always go condemnation. We try to get their attention, try to get them, to go in line before we go to the extreme we did on this one. But we'll get together with Mike at some point in time just to go over how we've normally done that. So our only active one is in progress. We need to get these other ones rolling too.
Do we need to talk about the one Kale had
Oh,
emailed
yeah,
out today?
Kale just... You saw that?
If I could bring it back to the Toller property for a moment, if there becomes an issue with it and we can't get it resolved by the time that Mike is officially no longer practicing law, we will need to bring in someone else because I would have a conflict of interest and I would have to recuse myself from that matter. So I will just note that so that it's not coming up later, but it sounds like that
I'm
may
very
not be
confident we're gonna
necessary.
resolve it. It looks like it,
Okay.
but, yeah.
I think you know.
For you, and then we'll pass them around.
So typically on this, we'll do that through law enforcement. It's inoperable, unlicensed, uninsured vehicles, garbage, trash, whatever you want to call it, being stored on city street. It's close to the fire hydrant. There's so many things there to list, you don't need to. What we do need to do, and Cody's made the first contact with them, is approach them, ask them to bring it into compliance. Apparently that's not gone to the best favor. So I think the next thing would most likely be form a notification for the violations, listing them. Typically when we do that, we go for what we really want done. I mean, you can go onto a property like that and find 100 things. Really, what we want is for it to be contained, oils, those kinds of things. But it just depends on how they respond sometimes. So first contact's been made. I think we'll probably be following up, and that would be number 6 on the listing. But this is a unique property. We deal with this one. This will probably be about the 4th time since he's been in business. It just kind of grows out. We do what we have to. Everybody gets mad at each other, and he cleans it up enough that we leave it alone for a while. But that's just kind of been going through the motions on that property.
When you make the second contact, does Mike previously, has it been Mike who's made it? Has it been Cody who's made the second contact?
So I need to get with Cody, because a lot of times in the absence of that, I would do that, where I would give them what the violations are, showing that there are in fact consequences for not doing this. If you don't do this, I have no choice but to then send it to the city attorney. It actually is, because it is on the city street, a law enforcement thing, so I'm going to get with Cody a little bit on that. He's not been through the code enough to be clear to go, to take that step. So we may do both, actually, through you, Mike, however we work that out, in the transition here. But yeah, we should be able to make one other contact before sending the letter of violations. And that typically has got us where we need to go with this individual.
Do we have anything that says you cannot basically run a mechanic shop on a city street?
It gets into nuisance, I think, more so because we've run through this in identifying it as it is. What we do have is oil. We have it's a nuisance, and or it's virtually littering, damage to the public property. I mean, it's just
There would be ordinance as far as the vehicles not being tagged and...
What about it?
There's ordinance as far as
Oh,
the vehicles not
absolutely.
being tagged and that kind of stuff.
And in fact, that's in the city of St. Francis, not just on the streets.
Right.
If you have it in the city and are storing it on your own property, it is supposed to be operable and tagged. So this is a little extreme. He likes to call it his inventory, but again...
When it has no wheels and...
Yes.
No
It doesn't have a place on which to hang it, like front nor rear.
It's sitting in the back seat, ready to go.
In our experience with this gentleman, asking him if he could do me a favor and help me out has worked a whole lot better when I approach him that way.
Yeah.
The only time we've ever had a big issue is when he had a limousine parked in front of our church with a woman in lingerie on the side of it. And obviously we had women who didn't like that. And so in our church, go figure. But I just approached him and I said, really? He goes, yeah, I don't know why they parked it there. So, but when other people have gone to him directly, he hasn't been very helpful.
If I go to him, I'm going to say, here's all of the things that are wrong with every single thing I can find, and I'm going to ask you to remedy these 3, or else I'm going to go after all 10.
That's exactly where we go because he does have a fence, and he also has an alternate property on the north side of town. When it's always brought up to you, it's like, okay, you've done it again. Please move the crap back to your lot that we don't regulate. And typically
where that lot's at? Just north of town, just across the road.
You can't miss
Quincy
it.
and
Go north
Jackson.
on Benton Street, look to your left, there's a couple acres of it there. It's all the same kind of thing, only 10 times more.
Right across the railroad tracks, you can't miss it.
Okay.
Just go north of...
Oh, that's that thing I see when I run up to the Y.
Yeah.
Okay.
That thing.
Okay, yes. I was not aware that was his, but yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess just for a difference of, if somebody wants to go be, hey, buddy, because when I go in, I won't be, hey, buddy. I know.
From the city, when you're representing the city, that doesn't work with him. You need to say, do it. And I understand how that could have possibly worked in that case, but we have a pretty good history, and you have to push to get something done.
Okay.
Did you guys see the photos that you emailed? Well, see them, Derek? That one's the prize position.
I just can't believe that I didn't realize who it was.
Not only that, they're blocking the sidewalk as well. All the junk is sitting there. So there's numerous things that you just can't do.
Well, it's not just one side of the street either.
No, it's every corner he's got
every corner.
stuff.
Well, and I would say this too, and because there's a change in law enforcement and there's a change in city attorney. It's really important to get off on the right foot that we're not, I would honestly say this individual would definitely be one to push back and see how it works out for him, so. Yeah, we don't want to hold that.
But there's residential properties in there, and,
Yeah.
a church and other businesses, and, and people just trying to drive down the street.
driving over nails and screws and all other things.
Yeah.
Probably.
Are we running into any issues with the semi parked on the other side of the street? It's still there?
It's gone.
It's gone?
Where was it?
Over at the
Gary's
other body shop on the same block.
Oh.
there. That semi's gone now. I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in my shop.
Anything else on property
Well,
cleanup?
that's kind of another thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
a body shop on a city street, sanding, and, I mean, I couldn't do that with motorcycles, could I? Wait, maybe I can. A bunch of old crappy bikes. and
Think about your
Actually, I have one that's
representation.
a art, piece of art, but maybe I should move it. Never mind.
I thought that's what he was doing with that Kawasaki.
It is, it's art.
Project spending. Washington Street met last week. We were hopeful to have a design brought in front of the city council. It did not work out for this meeting, so maybe next meeting we'll have kind of an idea of what our thought process is going forward there. We were kind of let down. We had worked on doing some banners for Main Street, but also wanted some for the highway, and the state told us absolutely no permanent banners or flags on the state right of way. So, Plan B.
Now, wait a minute. State right away?
Yeah, state right of way.
They
Yep.
claim it when they want to
You
claim
heard
it.
it. You heard it right. No banners on their state right of way. So, hopefully next meeting, probably next month, we'll have at least a tentative design, and the council can critique and give their thoughts and kind of finalize it, and then go.
You said no, you made two different statements there. You said no permanent banners, and then you said no banners.
No permanent banners or flags on the state right of way.
So we're able to look into what the definition of permanent is and proceed
'Cause
around that.
So the ones that are on Main Street, those fabric ones, the holiday ones, there used to be ones, and I don't know, JR, do we still have those, or what happened?
For the highway?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen those. I don't, that was before I was here, so that's at least
There
18
used
years
to
ago.
be, from what I've been told, there used to be those fabric banners for the highway. What we were looking at was having Calicrate Metal Works do actual metal ones to where they would stand up to the weather better than the fabric. Something that would be more permanent. Or just more,
So the state's permanent might mean
Yeah, but
180 days at a time or something, right?
or I mean, permanent also might be unable to be moved. So I
Mhm.
mean,
Right.
it would be.
and if these are bracketed just like the fabric ones.
Yeah, but if they're bracketed and twice a year you switch out which one's at which end, then I would argue that they're not. I mean, we
Yeah.
could look into what permanent means, and it'd
Mhm.
be probably a pain. But if you take the one that's at this end and you take the one that's at this end, and
Yeah.
swap them
Have summer ones. and
every
winter
6
ones.
months, every 6 months, one has a sunflower here and one has a state of Kansas flag here, and you just
the
flop
south
them
side
around.
of the light pole for 6 months, and then they're on the north side.
Yeah.
Every 6 months.
And do we own the light pole, or does the state own the light pole on the state right away? Oh, okay.
We're pretty sure that you guys do, unless there was some exception, but we will have to look into that, is what I got from the state. And I've never heard anything back on,
You won't ever get it straight.
no. Tyler, have we ever looked more into the tablets for council members?
I was just talking to David about that today. If I find the time, I would,
I got through my piles of paper at home going, look at this.
I know, that should be a
The way you set
priority.
it up was so slick that you could go back and, because you had OneDrive, is
Mhm.
that what you had? What OneDrive it was?
It's been so long ago since I was working with it. It wasn't Google Docs, it was the other one. What's the other one?
Well, Microsoft is OneDrive, and then,
It wasn't that.
Dropbox
Dropbox.
is the
That
other
was
one.
it. It was a Dropbox. And it worked really, really well, and
It
then I
was.
just didn't have time to pursue it, but...
It was nice because you could just put the agenda and any
Yeah.
supporting documents, we could all pull them up, and then that way if
Yeah.
you're searching for something, you could,
What we really need is somebody to decide what kind of device would work for you guys. If Kale, maybe you have a good idea. That's really the starting point. If we can figure out what kind of device would work well for everybody, the rest of it, I think I can set that up. It's the device that's been my stumbling block. I couldn't make up my mind.
Cost-wise, wouldn't like a Samsung tablet be the most cost-effective, or a Lenovo, or anything but Apple, basically?
I-
what about the Microsoft Surface Pro?
They're really expensive.
I know
If
that's
somebody
one
would
that-
want
If
to
the
take that...
Surface is, if you could do a Surface instead of a Surface Pro.
The base model, yeah.
The base model, I mean, because the base model still, you can do the Clip Connect keyboard, but it also
Yeah.
has the stylus that you can write on. But, I mean, the Surface Pro is, it's able to be used by like a graphic designer, and I don't know that you need to something that rises to that level of complexity, but the basic Surface.
I think it's $299 retail, but I'm sure we can get a government deal.
That would be something to look in with Verizon. Could you get a government through Verizon?
It would be really nice if somebody would want to take this on as a project and look into it for me.
Why don't I look at different tablets?
Would you
that
do
are
that, Kale?
reasonably priced? Do we have is there a budget we can spend on this? or-
So, Dara, this could come out of the equipment reserve.
Sure.
Yes. So, no.
Can we-
But we need to be reasonable about it,
Well, yeah, we
obviously.
don't want to go crazy.
I would want something functional, something easy for everybody to use.
Some easy to plug into all the PCs we have if we need to for some reason. Well, it's all wireless, really. Could be.
Would you want to do that?
Yeah, I can look into tablets. Yes.
Thank you, Kayla. I appreciate that very much.
Or you have that in your superintendent reports about did they come out and look at the access?
KDOT, no, we're waiting.
Oh, okay.
No, I actually called Gerald Bohr. He's the engineer that the state sent us to hire to do. He was going to get with the state before he talked to me, so I'm a little confused on what's happening. They're asking, but all I asked for was a proposal, a cost to give to the council to give consideration, have them make a design.
Feasibility study to see the best way.
Exactly. So we don't have any.
But they haven't.
No, no.
They haven't even been out?
He's got to talk to the state to figure out what the state wants before he can give us a bid.
Oh, my.
So it was, what, 2 more meetings they thought before they could just, yeah.
I haven't heard of any more movement or anything on the Empire property. We're still stuck in a rut.
I think we need to get the agreement to the CCDC, Helen, to be able to represent while the city maintains ownership. So we need to get Mike.
So we come up with a formalized agreement.
Yes. Because there's no reason for CCDC to own it. All we
No.
want is the city needs to maintain the final say, but we don't want to be in the sales business. And Mike had said he's going to write us that document. I don't check really want it, but I can.
Yeah.
It may go to you, but let me check with Mike first.
Yeah.
So.
I need to, I will be attempting to find a time to meet with, I mean, I'm sure I will have a substantial number of files.
Mhm. That's what he was talking about, the boxes that he was just going to be so happy to provide. But, no, essentially what we're trying to do there is the Empire Motel that we did all the construction work on. The city wants a motel. They had all that study, the local feasibility studies, and everybody wants a motel. The city, after cleaning it up, now owns a property with some associated cost, grant money, whatever, now owns the property and controls it, and is, by the consensus of the council, is only interested in having a motel built. We have solicited individuals and tried to do these other things, and basically gotten nowhere with getting a motel. So the idea came up a while back to utilize CCDC as an agent. She's actually a realtor, so that actually helps too. But actually utilize her through that office to try to advertise it, get it out there, get it in front of the right people. While the city retains ownership, we're not transferring and having tax issues and all that garbage. We already own it. And then the city would just have the final say on any proposals. So that's...
Does the city have any preference on how large or small the hotel should be?
None whatsoever. Those are all based on, and in doing a little bit of research, those are all based on traffic counts, general population, attractions, those kind of things. One of our big hang-ups is nobody wants to build anything under 25 to 30 rooms. It's not profitable enough to build it. So that's one of the things that we're up against. So, I think that's about it on that.
David, just so you know too, there's been some other interest expressed in that property. Some other people have maybe, and I throwing this out, that one person asked about storage. Another person had asked about, I just went blank. Oh, apartments or something like that. But the consensus with not only the city council, but with the county in general, is that this is the #1 priority for the county. That we need lodging.
And when we bid for the
If I was-
grant, it was that.
Yes. If I was a business owner with storage business, I wouldn't want it on the highway. I would never want my storage business on the highway. Vandalism is too great a risk, so.
What are the number of rooms that are being sought? You said nobody's wanting to do anything fewer than 25 to 30, but what is the number that is being sought after in the proposals?
So because of like the count, the traffic counts and everything points to below those numbers. So to get a franchise they just simply won't do it. I mean, Cobblestone is one of those that if you can get a whole bunch of local investors who are guaranteed absolutely no return on their money, they'll put the brand on it. I mean, it's kind of that. It's just really a tough spot. Oberlin's got a Cobblestone, and they had to do that with private investing to do it there. And they have a significantly larger count, some on traffic, but mostly just on local population. And they all had to get really creative with private citizens to get that one done. So it's there's quite a headwind on it, I guess you'd say.
Strategic talked about 15 to 20 minutes. That's kind of one of the numbers that have been thrown out. Strategic plan, maybe thrown out 15 to 20 room, but with what
Like
Jay's.
you say, yeah, it has to make a profit too if it's an individual.
I think your average cobblestone, you're looking at 75 rooms or 50 rooms at least, aren't you?
I think they have 32 units in the one in Oberlin, but again, different population
Yeah.
base too, and private investing, so.
Anything else on project spending?
The Shaw Hill Park improvements, I should mention that. I'm still trying to get something done with that. We're working on tree bids right now. That's the only thing I've got solid going. I still want to get lighting, something going on lighting, and the band shell seating. Still waiting on Kevin Bauman out of Goodland to provide some information on the seating and resurfacing, and I'm getting nowhere on the lighting at this point. Still like to get something put together to get in front of Hanson for that.
On that seating, JR, I know it has to be done a certain way, correct?
It depends. So that's on the historical registry.
Right.
And you can, if something's been done to it, you can go back to its original form, but you can never you can't improve it, I guess the best way to say it. You couldn't go back in there and resurface it with that same thing or something else. The original was just the concrete, so that's what we can go back to, and what we're hoping to do is sandblast off the existing and go back with paint with texture in it, like for traction, like grit.
Right.
I think we could get away with that with the historical registry. That's what we're hoping to do. We got to have numbers together first. So this is the chemical bids. We do this every year. Co-op's the only one left that's able to provide us with a bid. This is competitive with last year. We basically try to get all of our chemicals needed for the parks and highway frontage and everything all in one group. This is for $7,245.30, and I would ask that that be approved so we can get that ordered. It's taken up to 2 months to get it in sometimes, some of the products.
That's comparable to their last year.
Yeah.
So when you need to, and you give you the W-4 and K-4, and you can take it and fill it out.
I'd rather put it down if they're in or not. So my guy who's doing that.
Is your I-9?
Do you have my social security card driver's license?
Yes. Yeah, we're good.
Yes, right.
Your motion to approve the bid for the purchase of the chemicals.
So moved.
Moved by Joe. Second by David. All in favor? Motion passed.
Tomorrow, Miller and Associates is going to be in town. We're going to look at the theater. I know that came up, Robert and I have looked at that. We want to do electrical work, some tile work, and some other things. I just think there's a large enough scale project, we should get an overall design with possibly ADA and some of those things that obviously it doesn't meet. So we're meeting with Miller and Associates tomorrow, and hopefully we can get together some kind of a coherent plan to go forward and or look for funding to do some of that work. So we'll be here tomorrow. The water control system, I've brought this up several times. We're now currently running that on old stock inventory. They don't make some of those parts anymore. That Kansas Rural Water Association that I'll be attending, they have a lot of booths at those things, and the water control system there's a really big market for it. Everybody does that, and what I'm guessing looking for is one with references that are either in the area that work well or just what works for our system for its base size. So I'll be working on getting that. The actual price that we had on the one that we have had people come out and look at, sometimes it's hard to get people to come out, or they want to give you a price over the phone kind of thing instead of actually getting details. The one price I do have on that is about $89,000 for that system. It is something we're going to have to get done. What it does, we used to actually push a button right before I got here to pump water to the reservoir, and then you push the button that pumped the water from there to the tower, more or less injecting the system. Since then, obviously, there's radio systems that make wells come on, pumps come on, and keep everything at the right pressure. The system that we have was put in the year that I started, 18 years ago, and it still functions, it still works, but it's certainly not as reliable as we'd like it to be. So that's why we're trying to update that. It's just an old SCADA system.
What do you mean by reliability?
So it loses communication. The radio's in it sometimes. Mostly it's just about functionality. When it loses power, sometimes it won't come back up properly. But typically, what it does is it calls the dispatch a lot and says there's an overflow on the tower, or well 6 is not communicating, and it's just
It's not causing any kind of shortages in
none whatsoever. No. It is usually a maintenance thing that it's not talking, so we go change out the radio, then it works. And what we change it out with is an old radio or an old SCADA piece that eventually we run out of. So it doesn't have any effect on you turning on the water, fire protection, any of that. It has to do with us keeping it going, just maintenance time. I mentioned the Toller property, the 60 days on that. I am still working on a 5-year plan. Equipment, it's made quite a difference since we signed that electric contract early. And I'm not trying to get the money spent, but we had equipment we need to get, but we was holding off on that. So I'm trying to prioritize what we're actually going to need and keep in line with our cash reserve to get what equipment we need updated that we was going to put off. some time period. And actually, that's all I've got for this evening. These other things can wait till the next meeting or after we're awarded, hopefully, for our street project.
We
When are
should.
you gonna wanna hit that telephone?
May.
May, first of May?
In May, 1st of June.
Is that this week?
Around the 17th, yeah.
End of the week.
I'll let everybody know as soon as I know.
Any questions for Jared? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the superintendent report? So moved by Dara, second by Kayla. All in favor? Attorney report.
Hi. I had an email from Mike with the GAP resolution and the quitclaim deed stating, here they are. Let me know if you have any questions. I opened it as I was sitting in this meeting. I will be finding a time to meet with Mike and get together and hopefully transfer the files and have him explain what files are open and active, what requires immediate attention, what does not require immediate attention, just kind of bring me up to speed. We have not had a chance to do that yet, as he was out for the last 2 weeks of 2019, and I was out for the first week of 2020. So we have not had, since I had been asked to come on as city attorney, I have not had a chance to sit down and speak with Mike. I brought my cards for each of you. Amanda, I didn't bring one for you because you have my office contact information, so I only had 4. But so my email's on there as long as my office telephone number and fax number. I do not, my email is secure to my phone with a fingerprint and a passcode. This is kind of different than other clients for attorney-client privilege, but not necessarily until the time the council elects to disclose it to the public. So I don't function on my cell phone other than email for legal business due to the fact that it is not a secure line, it is not a private line, it is not an office line, it is a family plan, and it is accessible by, the records are accessible by other third parties. So if you need to get a hold of me, I ask that you do so at my office or via email. I check it when I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I check it before I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night. I mean, I am on it constantly. It is the fastest way to get a hold of me. It's the fastest way for me to get back to you. Otherwise, I mean, you're more than welcome to come into the office or give me a call at the office. But I won't respond to text messages on my cell phone, and I will try to direct phone calls towards the office. With the 5 buildings, JR, I'm going to, the potential cleanup projects, I will need names on those. I'm concerned as Mike closes his doors that I'm going to be conflicted out of more and more things. And so as things are coming up, if you could bring them to me, at least prospective names more quickly so I can know whether I need to be filtering, bringing in outside counsel, or turning away people who are coming in for that issue.
Most of this we can do by form letter,
Okay.
usually, until it gets to a certain level. So the conflict, I think we can avoid that by going through this office if it concerns you to have anything to do with that, because there's steps we take before it gets to that stage.
The concern, I suppose, for me would be that if they come to my office to schedule a consultation, not realizing I am the city attorney, just send me a name. We're going to be sending a letter to this individual. Just a quick email, if you wouldn't mind. That way, if Janet gets that way, rather than me wasting their time or them wasting my time and coming in for a consultation, Janet can say, I'm sorry, we're unable to assist you with this matter. We need to direct you to Jerry Fairbanks or someone else. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do because I haven't seen anything other than the email Mike sent me. So I feel...
There are nights when Mike has nothing.
Okay.
And we
Yeah.
just move on. So it's
Okay. Okay. I don't
Is that the
know.
days he doesn't show up?
That's what he said. KU's playing, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just didn't know everyone else gave such detailed reports. I'm sitting
I
here
know.
like,
Oh, no.
If KU's
Wait till you hear
playing,
mine.
I'm a
you
Notre.
come in with a walker and say you're sick and have to go home,
Yeah.
or...
Not
Who's
sure.
your teams?
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, and they play on Sundays.
Oh, okay, so we should,
So
Unless it's a Monday night.
if they're on Monday night, you might come down with a cough or something.
they're on Monday nights. Yeah, we'll cross that
Yeah, we'll-
bridge when we come to it. Yeah, that one night,
Almost
that
over anyway.
that one night, one night a year they play on Monday. I'm sure we can work around that. But yeah, yeah, I'm not supposed to say this being a KU alum, but I hate basketball. I hate it. I hate pro basketball. I hate college. If I wanted to go like this for an hour, I'd watch tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Thanks, guys.
Any questions for Lauren?
Welcome aboard.
If not, do I hear a motion to approve and file the attorney report?
Move.
Moved by Kale? Yeah?
Second?
Second by Derek? All in favor? Motion passed.
Thanks for
Yeah,
stopping
thanks
in,
for
Warren.
coming in.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I actually, when I first came to St. Francis almost 5 years ago, I had talked to Mike about it and said, you know, what's it kind of like? If you ever step down, I might be interested. And
Here you
look
are.
what happened.
We're all fairly newbies here.
Was it 4 years?
4.5 years. Oh, 4.5 is the season, yeah.
A seasoned veteran over there.
I know,
Oh,
right?
God, he's not here, though, yeah.
Hmm.
Clerk report.
I don't have anything tonight.
What?
I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
Are we
Never
expecting
happens.
snow tonight? All right, council comments. David?
Any comments from you?
What am I supposed to say?
Anything that's on your mind related to city stuff?
You want me to start down here first?
Who's winning the national championship game right now?
Nobody knows that.
Okay.
The only thing you can't discuss is Texas Longhorns.
Can't? No trouble.
No, if you got any concerns, if somebody brings something to you,
Someone brings you a complaint, say
When-
you gotta look at this, whatever.
One of the things I was going to point out, anytime you get a complaint during the middle of the week, and that goes for a city attorney too, if it's something we can address that doesn't cause a big thing here, if it's something that, you know, either law enforcement or I relay that right away. If it's something we can deal with there,
Okay.
it's just easier that way than waiting for a
Right.
meeting. So I just wanted to mention that.
Sure.
He was saying.
Haven't had anything.
basically telling you to put his number on speed dial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
The
know,
attorney first.
and the clerk's
Through
office
email.
too.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you'll get questions.
Phone at the office. Yeah.
Okay.
You can always call in here too if you get a concern from a citizen,
Yeah.
rather than waiting. Give us a call, give
Yeah.
me a call, because often it'll be something that I can answer or at least give you information to help, so,
Usually when they want their answer before the next meeting.
Yeah, I
they
know.
show up.
yeah. So,
Kale?
Nothing here.
Larry?
Nothing.
Larry? We'll review the bills on ordinance 1034.
and this is generally where Mike would go, "I'm out of here."
Unless KU was playing, then that would have been about,
You know,
45
yeah.
minutes ago.
Do you want me to be out of
No,
there?
no, no, no. I was just saying that.
You're welcome to go if you want to.
I'm not sure what ordinance 1034 is, so
I'll
I'm going to
show
stay
you.
and learn about it.
Have you signed it already?
No. You want me to go ahead and sign it?
Probably wait till. So what they do is, council reviews all the bills that have been paid in the last month. And that ordinance lists all the accounts payable checks, all the payroll checks,
Okay.
everything. It's a warrant register
Gotcha.
for payment of bills.
Okay.
Um,
Well, on that note, I'm going to take a leaf out of Mike's book. I will
You got
send.
about a month of getting caught up, don't you?
Huh?
You got about a month of getting caught up.
Yeah, I was out for a week. I got about a month.
Yeah.
yeah. That's about the way it goes.
It is.
And I'll try to get with Mike. But Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
I'll get you
Lauren.
this
Thank you.
Okay.
tomorrow.
Oh, let me get you, I'll be
Oh,
right
yeah.
back. I'm gonna get her some paperwork.
Okay.
Hey, JR?
Yes.
The Prairie Land bills,
Yes.
that's November, December, those are the new pricing?
Should be. And what they're doing is they're billing us the normal thing and then crediting us back. It's the way they have to do it, if that can make sense.
You mean just
So what you
the
see...
backdated stuff?
Yes.
So this is the actual bill, and they're gonna give us a credit somewhere on
No.
a line item? or-
Total amount paid is what we're paying for that time period. The credit back is on the previous months. I know what I'm trying to say. It's not gonna be right. So what they did is when we signed that contract, it went retro all the way to October.
Right.
So we should receive credit back on those previous ones. Going forward, it is specific to
If
the
you
new
could,
price.
on this one particularly, this is the I-9,
did.
and it's supposed to
I
be filled
think
out on your
December
first day
was
of
still a
employment.
credit.
So
I can just do it real fast right now if
So
you want.
these
if you want
two
to, or at least
probably have
just
credit
date it
applied to
today.
them.
They should, yes.
November, December.
And then if you want to
Yeah.
So they
have
would be-
your
they would be
direct
the reduced
deposit,
amount.
just pay for
Yes,
it,
that
that's
is.
it.
Okay. I'll do
Can we
the
compare to last year to see where we're at?
Sure, absolutely.
For
Perfect.
fun?
Yep.
I will do this right now.
That would be perfect, and it's just this section here, and you'll mark that you're a citizen, and then signing date, and then the rest of it is for me, it's to prove that you're employable, so this is where you're, I've already filled it out with your information.
German soft
Perfect.
tissue.
Okay.
Crazy amount of toilet paper here.
Oh, Amanda, I need you to sign this.
What gift was proposed delivering?
Oh, that was for, what's it say?
This was a delivered gift.
Oh, so we felt like it was appropriate to buy a gift for Leanne Taylor, the
Oh.
municipal judge over there, because she's been so helpful with Cody and then
Yeah.
also with Matt before. And so, and Mike suggested that we get, well, we had to get it over there to Goodland, and that's when the car wouldn't start.
Oh, shoot.
So she had to take her own vehicle to go, so that's what that was.
You just give me the address.
Yeah, send that in. Well, we're signing things there.
I know.
You look like you're contemplating something.
And I'm thinking about the tablets, because if we get something we can interface with our network here, wouldn't we want maybe Reach to also look at some functionalities of tablets? Probably.
You could ask Reach to get you an idea, and then you could look at tablets from there, because the computer Reach wanted to get me was $1,000 more than what I could get
Yeah.
brand new from
That's what I'm
doing
thinking.
it myself, and just
Yeah.
pay them to bring it on.
I haven't used anything, but I have for 20 years.
You're going to be so happy.
Yes.
But,
Perfect, yes, thank you. Yep.
See you, Lauren. See ya.
Good night. Even a netbook might be a good solution too.
What?
A netbook. It's a tiny laptop, there's no hard drive. Well, there's a disk drive, solid state.
Do you guys want, you guys don't need keyboards or anything?
Well,
See, that
a
always,
netbook would have a keyboard.
oh, does
Well,
it?
ones that have those keyboards you can snap onto them. You can have the tablet or have a little keyboard that snaps on.
Because I think if I would want something that had,
Yeah, you want to take notes.
Somebody's
whatever.
on Gideon Brook one of the posts on
I'll look into it.
thank you, Kale, I really appreciate it.
This is
Cleanup expense, yeah, that's probably, I'm guessing that's probably cleanup stuff. I'm not sure. Cleanup expense?
Yes, so that was the fall cleanup that we did, so we have to pay to take the stuff out there to the dump, and that's what that is. And if there's no description, what page are you on?
Yeah. That's right at the first page,
Which page is it?
the back of the first page.
Oh, back of the first page. Okay. So, on some of our invoices, which, let me just show you. If you ever want to look at an invoice, this is the check number, 65089. So I'm going to just show you. This is a really good invoice. What was that,
089.
Okay. So then I can show you exactly what we're talking about. So these are the invoices that we get from them. Well, sometimes they'll write down what it was that we dropped off out there, but sometimes they don't give us any idea what it was.
Well, that
We
one
just
line
know
says
they were
7 mattresses, 4 chairs.
Yep.
But sometimes it'll just say cleanup.
Yeah.
Oh, there,
See,
yeah.
so
Okay.
that's
And
right.
would that be maybe just the dump fee?
Those are the
like-
dump fees.
Yeah.
So like couches, mattresses, there's a per item charge, so that's probably why they're listed out. The others are probably just
Like
dumping up
loose
the...
trash, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, yes.
Will that be something we do on an annual basis?
Yes, we do this every fall. Yep. Yep.
Oh, they must have missed that whole block down on Jackson.
A couple other places I think they missed that are on our property cleanup list. Any other questions on the bills?
Just looking to see if there's any that David might want to know about. That customer accounts, I don't know if you saw that on page 5. Those are utility incentives for new businesses. That's what that is. We pay for up to $100 of their utility bill for
Okay.
a certain amount of months.
Surprised to see how much frozen was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we brought in pretty good money too. I'd have to look at the theater reports, but
That'd be interesting to know how much stuff went in.
we looked.
If it goes a percentage of ticket sales, right?
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, you're in light and water was like 26,000 down.
I don't have that report. Which report?
Janet
is it?
sent month
Oh,
end, the one she sent.
yes. I didn't look at it.
Yeah, it's about 26,000 different from last year.
Less,
Uh-huh.
but that's our revenue.
I know, that's what I mean.
So that'd be in
Revenue.
direct relation to the electric and billing. In other words, we would have bought less, most likely. So your
Mhm.
revenue's down, but your expenses are most likely in direct correlation with it.
Makes sense.
It's a really nice way of saying climate change.
Yeah. Mild winter.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, especially over a period of time. If you compare one year to the next, if you have a cold spell, it's quite dramatic.
Yeah.
Same with heat. If you run into hundreds where attics get really hot for an extended period, it shows it's a really high spike in the sales and purchases. One day of 100, not so much, but it's all the captured heat that you're trying to cool against. We did have a mild summer last year, right?
See, we didn't have that much.
No.
I'm actually
No.
surprised there's something more on than that, but
There's an increase of cost per kilowatt. You know, there's quite a few variables there,
Yeah.
but generally it should run in pretty much a
I
direct
mean, yeah, it
correlation.
was
May as well,
quite a while.
the rest on it on the highway.
Yeah.
Jet owns this place?
Yeah.
He still owns it. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
Ma'am,
I haven't heard. I've talked to Jeff.
this thing, I'll do that.
Wait for a motion to approve the bills on ordinance
I just got
1034.
I'm sorry. I'll second.
Correct. Kale and David seconded. All in favor? Now a motion to adjourn. Larry, second. Second by Darren.
Oh, that's too quick.
Oh, yes. This is running the football game, right?
Those Chiefs games.
Oh, my gosh. I was telling you guys, I'm like, I get Monday off, so it's kind of Kansas City to go to the game. I realize every game we've been to, they've lost.
Well, from a great 10.
I'm rethinking that, let's run to Kansas City. I called my friend last night and asked her about tickets, and she's like, I can get you standing room only for $8 a piece. And I'm going, standing room only, like, don't they have to have so many seats per person? Like, they can't just overpack it with capacity, I wouldn't think. I don't know how
so,
standing room only works.
You're out partying, you want it.
She's like,
Take this
you can
and read
go-
through it,
we-
okay?
we